from the trading ring to electronic order books, from the physical certificates to dematerialization, and from fragmented oversight to real-time supervision. The history of Indian markets has also taught us important lessons. Periods of stress in earlier decades led to strong regulation. Episodes of volatility led to stronger market infrastructure. Challenges led to better institutions. That is how mature financial systems evolve, by learning, adapting, and emerging stronger. Few institutions embody that evolution more than the SEBI. What has made SEBI effective is not merely the breadth of its powers, but the discipline with which it has deployed them. SEBI led India's transition to a T+1 settlement cycle for all listed securities, completing the phased rollout in January 2023. That put India well ahead of many leading markets, including the United States of America, which shifted to T+1 in May 2024. SEBI pioneered also what is called the ASBA, application supported by blocked amount, a mechanism for IPOs, a global innovation that eliminated refund cycles and blocked only the allotted amount in the investor's own bank account. SEBI and NPCI made India the first jurisdiction in the world to enable IPO applications through UPI, bringing real-time retail participation in primary markets to every smartphone. India today operates one of the world's most advanced depository infrastructures, with NSDL and CSDL holding dematerialized securities well over $5 trillion. SEBI's success rates over 90% in the Supreme Court, 73% at the Securities Appellate Tribunal, 92% at civil courts or the NCLT. These statistics actually demonstrate the institutional strength of its legal architecture. During financial year 25-26, IPO activity remained buoyant. 366 IPOs, facilitating capital raising of around 1.9 lakh crore rupees. Due to regulatory support, India's retail participation revolution is one of the great democratizing developments in our financial history. However, this also should be accompanied by informed participation. Participation without understanding can create vulnerability. Access without safeguards can create risks. Therefore, investor protection must evolve from a defensive function into a developmental function. All emerging challenges must be confronted with intellectual honesty. I believe it's a mark of a mature regulatory system that it learns from past, not just the past, but based on the episodes of the past, without being paralyzed by them. Every significant financial market, the United States or the United Kingdom, Japan, have all experienced episodes of excess, episodes of fraud, and also of crisis. The measure of institutional quality is not immunity from such episodes, but the speed and rigor of the corrective response and the structural improvements that follow. So the lesson that we must draw from history is not that regulation should become more restrictive, but that it should become more sophisticated and anticipatory rather than merely being reactive. The invisible infrastructure market is trust and integrity. So markets grow on trust, and trust rests on fairness, transparency, enforcement, and also on predictability. But the trust must be continuously renewed because new risks are emerging. Investor trust and market integrity are not merely market variables, they are public goods. At the heart of the market trust is SEBI's credibility as an enforcer. Market participants must know not only that misconduct will be investigated, but that it will be pursued firmly, consistently, and without hesitation. SEBI must remain uncompromising in this domain. The complexity and the speed of market activity are increasingly significantly to be addressed. Surveillance capabilities must evolve at the same pace. Equally, grievance redressal systems must also be credible, accessible, and timely because, as I said, trust in markets depend not only on returns but also on the assurance that wrongs can be addressed fairly and quickly. In this light, SEBI's actions against unregistered finfluencers signal the seriousness with which the regulator views unlisted financial advice or unlicensed financial advice. We need enabling frameworks for responsible financial education. I can see several attempts being showcased today on the 38th Foundation Day. But we should not tolerate the monetization of uninformed retail investor trust for personal enrichment. It is appreciable that SEBI, along with the IEPFA and market institutions, has conducted several joint Niveshak Shivir programs to reduce unclaimed financial assets and to create awareness about it. These efforts should continue with a focus on investor facilitation and support. I would like to have a few words said on the regulatory framework. Soft touch, regulation approach, and public consultation are essential for economic efficiency and effective governance. Principle-based regulation should be encouraged as far as possible, rather than overly detailed rule book. The Union Budget 2023 explicitly stated that public consultation would be integrated into the regulatory process to improve the quality and ease of compliance. In many ways, SEBI is already moving in this direction, and that is appreciable. Its use of consultation papers, seeking public comments, engaging with committees and market participants, and refining proposals based on stakeholder feedbacks reflect regulatory maturity. I urge the SEBI to pursue this consultative path even further. Let market participants see themselves as partners in regulation, not as subjects of it. We need to look at the Indian capital markets and understand, I'm sure all of you all do, that it is deeply connected to the world. Our investors are global, our issuers engage international pools of capital, and regulatory developments in one major jurisdiction increasingly influence market practice far beyond its borders. In that context, our regulatory conversation cannot remain only domestic. I would urge the SEBI to institutionalize more frequent and more substantive periodic consultations with its global counterparts and leading market participants on emerging issues such as cross-border fraud, use of AI in the markets, sustainable finance disclosures, and settlement interoperability, and so on, very many more matters. Indian regulation need not be an imitation of global regulation, but it must be in sustained dialogue with this. The more SEBI frameworks are understood abroad, the greater the confidence of global capital in Indian markets, and the greater the weight SEBI carries in global rule-making. One pet topic which I've been talking severally in different platforms, in the FSDC meetings that we hold, is the KYC simplification. We must also work towards improving our citizens' experience of financial services. We need a seamless, secure, and a portable KYC experience across the financial sector. This has been discussed, as I said, with the regulators at the FSDC meeting, that is the Financial Stability and Development Council meeting. SEBI must help drive the prescription of common KYC norms. Each regulator is keen to do it. I would suggest SEBI should help drive the prescription of the common KYC norms and the simplification and digitization of KYC processes across the Indian securities market. SEBI has a scale of investor participation, the depth of digital infrastructure, and the institutional credibility among peer regulators to take the lead in this domain. It is the shared responsibility of all stakeholders to ensure that no citizen has to repeat the same verification journey across multiple financial products and platforms. We must all work collectively towards it with a sense of urgency. Equally, deepening the corporate market, bond market, requires structural reforms across several dimensions simultaneously, and SEBI must be the convening and coordinating force. Thus, SEBI's October 2025 consultation on retail participation in corporate bond market is welcome. SEBI must continue to drive standardization in issuance documentation, strengthen frameworks for secondary market liquidity, and work in close coordination with the government and other regulators on mutual issues. At the same time, equal attention must be given to building more effective credit enhancement architecture so that access to bond markets is not confined only to the highest rated issuers, but can gradually extend to a wider set of fundamentally viable enterprises. A deeper bond market must also include a serious push for municipal bonds. India's cities are central to growth, but urban infrastructure cannot be financed sustainably, that is, through budgetary resources alone. Closer to conclusion, I would like to emphasize on cybersecurity issues. SEBI must also be ready to meet emerging challenges. And the most pressing of these, in my view, is cybersecurity. A single successful cyber attack on a major exchange or a depository or a clearing corporation or large broker could disrupt markets at national scale, erase wealth, and shake public confidence in ways that take years to rebuild. AI-led tools is making cyber attack faster, more adaptive, scalable, and in some cases more autonomous in execution as well. These risks can take many forms. Automated discovery of system vulnerabilities, which is being talked about now in the recent past week, malicious source code interference, attacks aimed at software supply chains, and coordinated instructions that can evolve in real time to evade detection. Therefore, not just SEBI, but all regulated entities will have to remain exceptionally vigilant. The tools of attack are evolving at high speed, and the tools of defense must evolve even faster. SEBI has done commendably well and good work with the cybersecurity and cyber resilience framework that came into effect in April 2025. This is a solid foundation on which more work can be undertaken. It's praiseworthy that SEBI and its data analytics and digital forensics laboratory is using advanced analytics, AI, and machine learning models to detect complex market manipulation patterns and network-based frauds. With the increasing use of technology, there is an explosion of fake investment videos and apps circulating on the social media, many of them using deep fake AI to impersonate popular personalities. It is commendable that SEBI has rolled out SEBI Check, which allows investors to verify the payment details of registered intermediaries before transferring money. These are important interventions, and they should be expanded with urgency and visibility. I urge SEBI to invest very substantially in public awareness through campaigns on every major platform in regional languages and through rapid response takedown mechanisms for fraudulent content impersonating public officials. I think the journey towards Vikasit Bharat will require extraordinary investment in infrastructure, manufacturing, energy transition, urban transformation, innovation, and human capital. It cannot be financed by the public balance sheet or banks alone. It will require deep, well-regulated capital markets where SEBI's role becomes instrumental. But above all, we want better markets, not merely bigger markets. Size without integrity is fragility. Volume without investor protection is exploitation. Growth without governance is unsustainable. And ensuring that is definitely a shared national priority and responsibility. Today is a moment of gratitude as much as of reflection. It is a moment to recognize that many individuals across 38 years who have shaped SEBI through quiet competence, firm judgment, and sustained public service. I extend my deep appreciation to the chairperson, board members, officers and staff, past and present, for building an institution that has earned national trust and international respect. Thank you. Jai Hind.